Good evening, this is Triangle Radio and I'm Matt Fraser and you're listening to my World of the Strange. On tonight's show we've got a couple of hours of paranormal themed malarkey. We have an interview with Paula and Adam Heath from Forest Paranormal Investigations. They've got some tales from St Breville's Castle and the likes of the Angel Hotel there in Colford. But also we have a couple of stories from some local authors as well, and of course some good music to keep you entertained through the next couple of hours. We're going to jump straight now into the first part of my interview with Paula and Adam Heath from Forest Paranormal Investigations.
It is, yeah.
Tuesday 13th of October, I'm with Paula and Adam Heath in their lovely home just outside of Monmouth. I am Matt Fraser, this is Triangle Radio. So guys, yep. First off, thank you very much for inviting me to your home. Do appreciate it. So you guys have been investigating the paranormal for some 10 years now, I believe?
As FPI, we've been investigating for 5 years. I've been working probably about 14 years now in the paranormal. Yeah, and you? Under different teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a long time.
What's up?
And then how about you, Paula? How long have you been investigating?
Since I met Adam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 6
And do you
years.
both have a lifelong interest in the paranormal?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely, without a doubt. I was always a bit of a freaky kid who went off to the library and went to the supernatural and the occult section and read Aleister Crowley when I was very young and things like that. Really quite serious, heavy stuff, you know. And so, yeah, I've always had an interest in the paranormal and monsters and vampires and ghosts and things like that.
Is there anything you can think of that first sparked your interest? Or?
I used to see a lot of stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I was a little boy, I used to run into my mum and dad's bedroom and say, Mum, the lady's in our bedroom with me and my brother, and she's been watching us in our bedroom again. And my mum would sort of try and calm me down and say, don't worry, sweetheart, that was just me looking in on you. And I used to say to her, yeah, but Mum, you don't walk through walls. So I used to see loads of stuff as a kid, and used to sort of creep up at late and watch horror movies with the sound down and things like that.
Yeah.
Just always had a fascination with it, and it was many years later, and I got into the paranormal and starting paranormal events with a local medium, and setting up stuff for her. And then Paula walked in. I had a shop in Cinderford selling sort of esoteric stuff, and Paula bounced into my shop one day and
well, my story, because
can you sell my vampire books, wasn't it? And
because I've had quite a few paranormal experiences through my life, and I grew up in a weird house in Drybrook as well, with just an eerie sense that I don't know, and it was quite a negative thing as well, So I don't know, it made me more sensitive, I suppose, to atmospheres.
Yeah.
So I experienced a few things through my 20s and 30s. And of course I started writing vampires in 1997 when I was 27, so I've always had that sort of belief then, of the invisible worlds around us. So that's where I sort of wrote 3 books and life went on, and then I walked into Adam's shop, his gothic shop, and asked if he'd stock my vampires. And we talked for an hour solid about ghosts, vampires and everything in between.
So,
and that was it.
Yeah, that kind of catapulted, that was the catalyst, so to speak.
Yeah.
We started going off to all sorts of different places. The flat I was living in, which Paul moved into in about a week of meeting me.
I moved into the bathroom.
She moved into the bathroom very quickly. She's a quick worker, but the flat we used to live in was really strange. So many, it was maybe 250 years old. I don't think anyone had ever lived there. It used to be warehouses right in the middle of Colford. And this is how it started, really, wasn't it? FPI. I was already doing stuff. I knew a lot about the paranormal anyway, and I had a lot of equipment because that's my side, the technical side of it.
Yeah.
And we would just used to have, you'd hear footsteps at night going through the living room while you were in the bedroom. Usually when our daughters stayed over, it's weird, we both had teenage daughters at the time.
Yeah.
And whenever they stayed over, they both had strange experiences where the doors would open on their own. They both felt someone was watching them. It was just strange. So we started setting up some equipment.
Yeah.
Just, some digital voice recorders. We had one night where the TV would just switch itself on and off randomly. We had stuff moving around. Yeah. So we set up what's called a ghost box, which is just, it's a radio that's been hacked to, basically it just scans around all the frequencies. Yeah. Where a normal radio will stop on the strongest frequency and it'll stop. What these do is just keep scanning round and round. So there's a theory that the spirits can basically jump on one of those frequencies and impress their voice on it. And when I first started using it, I thought this is a load of rubbish. This can't work, surely. So we started to get some good results. And one night I just said, didn't I? There was so much weird stuff going on in the flat that night. I said, let's just set up this ghost box and give it a go.
I mean, that's where the thing is I've written about ghosts and lost souls within my vampire trilogy, and it was always sort of this big romantic heartbreak across the dimensions, sort of, because I am a big romantic, but to actually sort of experience paranormal was different and quite scary because I didn't know. I felt threatened. I wouldn't stay in that flat on my own. I'd experienced things in the past, but got over that. This was new, and it was coming at most nights to knock on our door, so it was getting quite intimidating. And Adam said to me, what about if we communicate with it and find out what's going on? And I'm like, do you know what I mean? It's a bit scary.
One thing I've learned over the years, it's, if I had to say one of the most important things about paranormal investigation, it's about communication. That's first and foremost. You're setting up communication with whatever it is in whatever dimension, and they must be screaming out to talk to us. So you have to give them as many opportunities, as many ways they can talk to us. And the ghost box is a great thing. Like I said, I thought it was rubbish to start with.
And the thing is I thought it was one entity. And once we got the ghost box going and established, there were loads on the other
as soon
side.
as you communicate, start communication.
And talking through this piece of equipment, and I asked some very direct questions and got very specific direct answers straight back. Class A.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible that
it was almost immediate.
I knew I was talking to someone wherever they are. It was just, and I became a believer instantly because the evidence was there for me. I experienced it. You know?
There's no way. I mean, a lot of people will say, and okay, you've got to, like I say, I think I said to you before, you have to explain what's normal before you say what's paranormal.
Yeah.
And that's all well and good, but when you start getting direct communication through this radio, you could start and say, well, this is just coincidence. It's just a radio voice saying yes at the exact time. But when you start getting specific questions answered, and you start getting your name called out with your surname as well, Adam Heath, Paul Meek, who at the time was Paul Meek before we got married, we were getting our names called out. We were having questions asked back to us and things like that that were very specific to the conversation we were having. And we were like, Christ, this is almost immediate. And I thought, this is amazing communication. And to be fair, we've used it. We use it a lot on our investigations, but we've never had as good communication as we used to have in that flat. Maybe we're talking 10 years ago, maybe not 10 years, 6 years ago, maybe.
And it was almost as though they were trying to establish a spirit team on their side to communicate with someone with some sense on this side and tech, a real tech head as well.
So almost like like-minded individuals, if you will.
On that side to this side, and we really did. We had one guy, Don, from the flat, we communicated with him, very strong Scottish accent. And he came onto the ghost box in St. Rebel's Castle.
And he started out of the flat, didn't he? We met him at the
which was in Colford. And then also, he met us again in the New Inn in Gloucester.
We started noticing his voice cropping up.
Hi, it's Don. That showed us then that spirit is able to move freely around Gloucestershire as we are. They're not stuck in a haunted flat.
We even thought, is this, like you say, some like-minded spirit helper that comes along? And now, usually we ask out for Dom, and you can recognise his voice very clearly, very broad Scottish accent. And he's one of the most powerful communicators we've had on the
Would you put him in the same kind of league as a spirit guide type of...
We've asked him that, and he was a bit vague, but I do think he will go and get somebody if
it's almost like he's a helper.
I do feel that. I really do. We've experienced that.
There was
he's not easily pleased either.
He's pretty blunt, shall we say.
Impatient.
But in fairness, over the other side, I can't imagine there'd be too many things over this side that would impress him anymore, to be honest with you, once you've crossed over there.
I think as well, there's a I certainly think the more people are passing over to the other side with more technical abilities, scientific abilities, they're finding a way their side to communicate with us this side as well. So you can almost ask for some form of spirit scientist from the other side to give you help to communicate, or to make the veil thinner between whatever dimensions we're communicating on. And I think it's going to get easier and easier.
So that was part one of my interview with Paula and Adam. We're going to jump back into the interview now with Paula and Adam from FPI. This is part two.
My dad and my grandfather were both early pioneers of infrared spirit photography. They would go along to medium sessions, to seances, and they would just look at it from a photographic point of view. They would take photographs. And after my dad died, I found some incredible evidence. I have to show them some pictures of manifestations, almost ectoplasmic manifestations that he captured on some old infrared Kodak cameras, and they were incredible. Yeah. But my dad had such an interest in the paranormal itself, and we chatted about it just before he died. About giving me signs and things like that, and if he could do it.
And he did.
And he did. Yeah, there's no doubt he did. We had some amazing experiences. I mean, like I tell you the stories, they were just incredible. Yeah. But I'd lost my faith a little bit in the whole of everything, spirituality, the paranormal, everything.
Yeah.
Because it was such a hard time. My brother passed away 5 weeks before that, and I was in a really dark place. Just certain things happened afterwards that pulled me back up to it.
Yeah.
Because I know it was my dad. I know my dad was just giving me these. It was more than little signs. It was like a baseball bat around the head, because that's the sort of guy he was.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have done anything by half. He wouldn't have done it subtly,
Yeah, we've had a complete chair move about 4 meters and turn
just
around.
Stuff and turn around and just seeing it.
But we're not in front of our eyes, but we went back into the room and it was like, it's absolutely crazy.
We lost the key to his. He had a gun cabinet and a shotgun license. He had all licenses and things like that. And we cleared out his flat while he was in hospital, thinking that maybe he would come back in. He was a real hoarder, absolutely stuffed full. So it took me weeks and weeks and weeks. It took me 3 months to clear this place out. But we were looking for this key because the police had turned up that day looking for his gun.
Yeah.
It's only like a .22 rifle that belonged to my granddad, and we'd cleared everything in this whole flat, and it's like, oh my God, where is it? And we sat down, and literally the police were going to be there in a couple of hours, and they needed this gun. And we'd found what we thought was a gun cabinet, which was in the back of a wardrobe, but I couldn't find a key. Yeah. I'd found hundreds of keys lying around, but not this one key. And I sat there, Paula, we were eating a pasty, and I said, look, Dad, the police are going to be here in a minute. Where's this bloody key? Just show me where this damn key is. Anyway, we sat back down, had a bite to eat, and I looked across, and on the mantelpiece there was a little carriage clock you get like when you retire with those things that spin round. And I looked on the wall, and there was another clock on the wall, and I said, oh, they were out by about 20 minutes. And I said, what's the time, babe? And she told me the time, and I said, oh, the one on the wall is wrong, it's about 20 minutes out. Picked it up off the wall to like that, changed the time, went to put it back on the wall, and there on the hook behind the clock was the key. And I thought,
we never would have found that.
Never would have found it.
Had been,
And I truly believe
you get points.
He was signs, wasn't he? Yeah.
Things out to you, They're
probably shouting and screaming at us all the time.
Yeah, and then you get this subtle whisper in your mind to do something. You think, well, that's just weird.
Yeah.
So,
But that energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes. There has to be something.
We don't know the answers just because we've experienced so much.
It's like I said, you never know until you go. Someone said the other day.
That's absolutely true.
And that's true, but I'd like to think we will know. I'd like to think, we are scratching beneath the surface. We are pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and what we know about the other dimensions, the paranormal, whatever you want to call it. I hate things like phrases like ghosts and hauntings and stuff like that. I don't like to think, but that's what it is. Ghost hunters, ghost chasers. That's all really.
We're more into quantum side.
We're
dimensions. And
we want to try something different.
I'm really glad you said that, because that's the stuff that actually really interests
me.
Absolutely. I've read so much about quantum.
Well. Absolutely.
10 years ago, I really get it.
But it's very difficult to get it. You get it. You with quantum, you always get it's a penny drop moment. It seems really complicated, but then suddenly you just think, no, it's really easy. It's when you put your mind to it, when you actually see what's going on, and you can see everything.
Your favourite location that you guys have investigated?
Probably.
Not just in the forest, but
I don't say probably. My favourite location is without a doubt St Rebel's Castle.
Yeah.
There's more ghost stories with that place than any other place I've investigated.
Yeah.
And it never lets us down. We have done so many investigations there, and you never know what's going to happen. You can have 30 people on an event, and you can never guarantee them that there's going to be something paranormal going on. Thankfully, there is. I know we've got the right energy. I know we've got the right technique
Yeah.
To become with respect, and we know we can get that communication going.
Yeah.
But you can never guarantee it will. But St Breville's Castle, every event we've done there has just been fantastic. We've sometimes it's quieter than other nights, but generally it's just you can pretty much guarantee something.
I think they respect us because we're Forest Paranormal.
Yeah.
And it's a forest.
It's a forest location. There are so many great stories with that place, and the energy. I'm sure. Have you heard of stone tape theory?
Yes.
Where the energy's
I'm
reportedly
old enough to remember watching it on the TV.
Yeah.
Scared the living daylights out of me.
The theory that the energy can impress itself in the very fabric of a building, stone, especially stone that has silica, like old castles and things like that. There's the story of the guy in York Cathedral who was bashing away at the stone, and perhaps the atmospheric conditions were just right. He hits a stone, a spark comes off, and he has a whole legion of Roman soldiers walk past him, completely oblivious, like a recording, completely oblivious to him, and walking from their knees.
Yeah,
you heard that one? Yeah, because they're walking on the ground.
On the original level.
The original level, yeah. So what's to say that certain atmospheric conditions, if you get it right, certain techniques can, almost like press and play on a recorder, you will see something will play out before you. They're not interactive.
Yeah.
It's a recording.
It's purely a recording.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that could be scientific, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's a lot of that at St Breville's, because so many things have happened there, and very often, this is why we find haunted places are very dark usually, because it's the dark stuff that shouts the loudest, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's the closest to us. It's the lower vibrational stuff.
Yeah. The angry stuff.
The angry stuff, the fear.
Yeah.
You know, places of execution, places like that
Oh,
are always very
the baser emotions. There,
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I think they're the closest to us now. When maybe if we ascend to different dimensions, we vibrate on a very high frequency, and that's further away from us. But certainly the very dark stuff, I think, is close to us, and I do think that is why you tend to find old castles, places of execution, places of suffering, places of anger. That's why they're supposedly the most haunted, and I use haunted in a very loose sense of the word.
We're going to go back to our interview now with Paula and Adam from FPI. This is part 3.
Nass Lane, I had a really bad experience in Nass Lane in Lydney.
Right.
Where, I don't know if you've been down there, the Nass house, a beautiful old house.
No, I haven't.
Used to practice there when we were in a band. It was just a freaky old house that would scare the crap out of us then.
Yeah.
But we went back years ago, and it was it's reputed to be haunted by a chap called William Morgan, who in the early 1800s, maybe 1700s, even 1760s maybe. It's in the Forest Ghost book, basically.
Yeah.
William Morgan, he attacked 2 young ladies who were walking down Nass Lane, returning to the house, and he murdered one of them, basically stole her money, tried to kill the other one, beat her nearly to death. He'd lost some money in a gambling match somewhere in Lydney, a game of cards that night, and he got caught, and he was caught. They woke him up, they found blood on his overalls, and he was hanged for it. He was tried and hanged for it. William Morgan was his name.
Yeah.
Not a nice guy, by all means, you know.
But a lot of people since then have seen
him. Yeah, he's been seen hanging in trees.
Over the last few hundred years.
Right.
So it's his spirit still hanging from this tree. So we went to investigate.
So yeah, we thought we'd go and investigate Nass Lane. We thought we'd give it a go, and nothing was really happening. It was very quiet, and I thought, well, I'll try and antagonise it a bit here. And I was possibly a little disrespectful. It's all on camera, maybe, and I'm calling out, and I say a few things, and
we had him communicating
through
K2.
K2.
So that was good. And then I
pushed it a little bit, and then I ended up, I can only describe it. It's only happened once in all these years of doing this investigating. It was as if I was being beaten.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. It was as if I was being kicked and beaten.
In your back?
In my back. Kidney punches. Blow after blow after blow. And Paula had the camera. It's all on camera.
So yeah.
And I'm doubled over in pain, and I've got this K2 there, and she's going, hold it up. And I'm like, oh God,
get off me.
I can't even breathe, get off me, you know? And the K2 is just flashing red.
Yeah.
Crazy red. And I'm just like, let's just get the hell out of here. Let's just go.
Yeah, but then we realised that actually Adam had asked.
Yeah, I'd ask
show
for it.
me something.
Yeah, show me something. Show me something physical.
Show me something physical. So
Yeah.
that was a physical.
And it happens. We get the hell out of there. We drive to the nearest pub.
I think we were
and
trying
I
to
pull up
think
my
of-
top,
Yeah.
and I've literally got red marks, bruises down my back.
Yeah.
You know, from this beating, and it freaked me out for a while. I really, you know, that sort of thing just really messes with your head.
I mean, we've
for a
had our
while.
hair
Can
pulled,
imagine.
we've been prodded, poked. You know, you can ask, you know, if you want to pull my hair, you can, you know, and stuff like that. But to be beaten up was.
We've been back twice, and it hasn't happened again. So,
And we have communicated with him again since, and he did
Yeah.
remember us, which is always amazing that they do remember us. You think, oh wow, you know.
Going back to what we talked about earlier, the Angel Hotel. That
Yeah.
is probably the one venue that we've really extensively investigated.
Yeah.
At one time, we were living literally just up the road, and a couple of other guys who were working with us, they lived just round the corner. And we were lucky enough, Ben, who was the owner at the time, we had a great working relationship with him. We'd done some good events there. And I think for a period of about 6 months, we were investigating the Angel Hotel.
Every week.
Every Monday night we would go in. It was when the hotel wasn't open to guests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would sometimes have the run of the entire hotel to ourselves. Ben would give us the key.
So we
It
did
would-
loads of
we would-
experiments, didn't we? There?
Yeah, we built up almost like a paranormal profile
Yeah.
of the building.
Yeah.
And we got some of our greatest results because we literally spent so many working hours investigating that
Some
venue.
amazing EVPs.
Incredible
Yeah.
EVPs
Yeah.
where we know you have to discount, like I say, what is normal. We were the only people in the building. We were getting, there's some class A EVPs where you hear voices saying yes, and you can hear them answering our questions.
Yeah.
They're all on our YouTube page, on our website as well. It's worth looking at. We've had stuff thrown around rooms that we've caught on camera as well. A K2 flew off the bed in one of the rooms. This was one of the venues that we did on the Great British Ghost show with Michaela Strachan as well. And afterwards, in fact, that was quite a good one, because after the Great British Ghost, we did the filming there in the day. They were on the second series of Great British Ghost, and we said to Michaela, so how many investigations have you done, Michaela? And she said, well, I've never actually been on a paranormal investigation. And we were like, you've got
And
to
you're
come out.
talking
Yeah.
about ghosts?
You're talking about ghosts?
You've never
You need to come out with us.
experienced
Yes.
So we talked with the landlord, and then we talked with Michaela and Bruce and
She
some
was
of the
well
camera
up for it,
guys.
actually.
They were well up for it.
They were all
Yeah.
up for
We've
it.
got some
And
great
the same
footage. We
guy.
can never use it because they're
No.
bound by
No.
whatever contracts.
Yeah.
We cannot use it.
Yeah.
Confidentiality. But in a nutshell, they came out with us that evening.
And they all
had an
experienced
amazing
paranormal.
night. Michaela Strachan had some very paranormal stuff happening. She was a little bit scared, I think. But the camera guy, or was it the sound guy? One of the
same
guys,
guy.
sound guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was lying on one of the beds in one of the rooms, the Royal Room in the Angel, and he got slapped so hard and prodded. Something sat down next to him. He jumped out of the bed,
Yeah.
ran across the room, ran out of the room, and refused to go back in there again
Yeah.
afterwards.
It was really
totally
cool.
brilliant. We've had guys on at the Angel see full-bodied apparitions.
Yeah.
We had one night, incredible event where we had the same apparition seen twice in one night in the same room, wearing the same clothes,
Yeah.
by two different witnesses. The first was by a guy who, in his admittance, was a total skeptic. Came along with his wife just because she wanted to come along. Admittedly, he'd had a few pints. He went upstairs into the Royal Room. The door was shut. He opened the door. There was what he only describes as a maid making the bed in a dark uniform, black and white.
Yeah.
Middle-aged, I think it was, that one, middle-aged. He opened the door, she was making the bed, and looked very old-fashioned. He looked at her, shut the door, said, I'm sorry, walked out. His wife was waiting for him outside, and she saw him, and she said, what's wrong with you? And he said, there's someone in the room. She said, don't be silly, nobody can get into the room, it's only us here on the event. And he said, there's somebody making the bed, a maid making the bed. So I said, don't be silly. She opened the door, of course, nothing was there.
Yeah.
Later on the evening,
It was
that
like
evening,
half an hour later.
yeah, half an hour
Another
later,
couple
another couple
saw-
saw exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But the weird thing was, exactly the same maid, but their witness account said she was a very young girl,
Yeah.
wearing exactly the same thing, making the bed, doing the same thing,
Yeah.
but a lot younger. Have you seen American Horror Story, the first
Yeah.
season, where the maid is in
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and she's old and she's young at the same
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. But that was weird because that happened
Yeah.
about 3 years before American Horror.
Yeah, before American Horror Story. It's very strange.
So-
Yeah.
But it's certainly, the Angel Hotel is an amazing venue, without a doubt. Whether it was because we put the hours in, I don't know. Because it's like anything, you only get out what you put in.
Yeah.
If you're putting in the hours, you will get the results.
And you're establishing relationships with
Absolutely,
spirit,
with spirit on the other side. You've got the right equipment, you're in the right place at the right time, you've covered as many bases as you can.
It's almost like they know what you're doing. So it's like when you first go in, you show them a piece of equipment, we'd like you to make these lights light up with your energy for a yes. You know, by the time you've established and they're able to do that, you go in a couple of weeks' time, they're straight on the equipment saying, "Oh, we're here."
It's easy, right? We're here now. We know how it's easy for us to do now.
Yeah. We, as soon as we open up, they're there. They were not sitting around thinking, "No, there's not going on tonight." It's straight there. There's straight to communication.
There's certainly a very, I wouldn't say an evil presence, or even a dark. There's a cantankerous old spirit there called Jack.
Right.
Confused sometimes with another spirit they've had there that answers phones and things like that and talks to some of the night porters and stuff like that. But we always called him Jack. We've had some amazing EVPs. We've been told to leave very harshly. Leave on EVPs and stuff. And we're like, whoa, we actually heard that. Hold on, what's going on?
I think he thinks we're immoral.
He doesn't
he's quite
like us being there.
Actually, in a bizarre way. I would say he's got very, and he thinks what we're doing is
morally wrong.
Evil.
Yeah,
and we should not be messing with it. And he's
but Jack has physically attacked some of our guests on events. You know, I mean, we're always prepared for these things.
He pulled one girl's crucifix,
literally pulled it up on her neck and dropped it back,
and she wouldn't go back in that room.
Yeah,
you know,
we have had people run out screaming on our events, but we're always prepared for this. People see Paula, certainly you calm them down. But he's certainly a very strong character in The Angel. There's lots of stories of children running up and down corridors. We've heard them ourselves. We've got some of that on EVP. Ben, when he stayed there with his wife, his children would never stay there. They were terrified of staying at the Angel.
I think there's a lot, a lot in the forest. But then, that quantum thing, there's a lot everywhere.
I think the Forest of Dean, with all of its myth and legend and history, is a hotbed of paranormal activity. I've investigated all over the country. I've investigated in France, different places in the world, but I always come back to the Forest of Dean. It's a beautiful place. We love living in the Forest of Dean. We grew up in the Forest of Dean, Paul and myself. But there are so many spirits and stories and ghost stories with it. You can investigate the rest of your life and not cover it all.
On your PC, tablet and your mobile.
Community radio for the Forest of Dean. This is Triangle.
Just to go back to what you were talking about with Jack at the Angel there, and how he was a religious man. I find that very interesting, the fact that he's passed over and he still has this belief. Now that very much says to me that he hasn't passed over to what people would consider the afterlife, to heaven.
Well, I think that's instilled with fear. I've done some investigations places and you establish communication. I think some of them don't want to go over because they are it's instilled into their lives, especially back then, that if you sin, you will go to hell. Then when they pass over, they're so afraid of going to hell, they get stuck here. They get rooted here because they think if they go to whatever light, wherever they are, the next transition to whatever world or dimension they're going to, it's going to be hell.
We actually had a girl, Gracie, and that was in the Feathers. And she was probably about 10 years old, come out on the equipment, and she was trapped. She actually helped, I'm trapped. And we were like, what's trapping you? And basically she was scared of her father, who was obviously gone over as well, because we're talking they were in the previous century, and I think she was scared of bumping into her father. She was scared to go because she expected him to be there, so she was stuck in between. That was our first experience with that, wasn't it? And we don't very often do spirit rescue. But we did with her. We literally.
You say that's incredibly tragic for her to be trapped.
Well,
there's some tragic stories.
There is a tragic story, and that's based around fear.
One tragic story that springs to mind was at St Breville's Castle, and although we touched on this earlier about Ouija boards, Martha, we do use Ouija boards. Like I said to you, we did have a Ouija board down in our a big sort of 4-foot carved out Ouija board down in our spare bedroom, master bedroom there, until people who stayed up started freaking out about it. We're like, okay, so we didn't realise it, we use it. I think if you protect yourself properly and you use it responsibly, it's once again, same thing. A lot of people have horror stories about Ouija.
Do you think it's a frame of mind thing?
Yes, I think a lot of it is. I've used Ouija boards for the last 14 years. I've never really had a problem with them.
Yeah.
I know people who have. I am from a skeptic point of view. Yes, I do know people push the glass.
Yeah.
It's called ideomotor function. You can unconsciously push that glass to letters. You can do it.
Yeah.
But that said, I have had several experiences with a Ouija board which has left me with no doubt that I was communicating with something somewhere on another dimension. And the one that springs to mind was St. Breville's Castle. A woman called Martha, I forget her surname.
I can't think.
Martha Rose.
Yeah.
And I was called out Paula. I was doing something else, entertaining some guests somewhere else with some Xena cards or something.
Well, I had 2 guests call me in to start with because the glass was moving that quickly, but not making any sense. So I got on the glass and calmed them down and said, "Can you spell slowly what you're trying to say?" And it came out children. And then we got her name Martha.
You called me through it this time,
and then
didn't you?
I called Adam through because I'm like, he'd be very angry actually to miss this because this is quite incredible.
Really good.
Yeah.
So there was like 5 of us on the board then, and it was
over the next half hour it was just getting light, maybe 5-6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I can without doubt, probably the next half an hour to 45 minutes, we had such communication on that board that it couldn't have been anything else.
Yeah.
It was
She
incredible.
knew directly,
and we were asking people to take your fingers off just for a moment. It was very deep.
She didn't stop.
The great thing was we got a message there with names and dates.
Yeah.
And I'm always, if you need to clarify and quantify these things down to names and dates. Write it down.
Yeah.
Turns out we did some experiment. We went on some ancestry sites afterwards because it was such good evidence.
Yeah.
And this lady Martha Rose said she had died in a certain year, and it all correlated.
1929.
29. It all correlated with evidence that she gave us.
Yeah.
Through ancestry sites, and she the funny thing was she had grown up in Monmouth.
Yeah.
She wasn't buried in Monmouth, but she had lived in Monmouth for a period of time, and she was the only person called Martha Rose. She had the same amount of children that she had told us, who had also died in certain years. So that is the one piece of evidence with Ouija boards I can say. She
hadn't worked at the castle. She had nothing to do with the castle.
Nothing.
But
she was
because
in visitation.
we put that light up to the, and asked if there's any spirit.
Yeah.
What her problem was is she had 2 of her children with her.
Yeah.
And she was trying to find Richard.
The 3rd children, yeah.
Well, and I said, "Is that your husband?" And she was like, "No, baby." Well, no, it was 4-year-old boy, wasn't it? 4-year-old boy.
Who had
and I was
starved.
like, right, okay. Now as it turns out, this is why it took 3/4 of an hour. She was explained that he believed she killed the baby.
Right.
And she was trying to get a message to him, tell my son it was my mother that killed the baby, not me.
Yeah.
Because Richard was too scared to go to his mum because of what he thought.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we literally got hold of Richard then, through our spirit guides, can you get Richard here? He needs to communicate with his mum and realise there needs to be some healing going on. And all the time it was through the board. And she literally went, and I said, can you see him? And she went, yes. And then she spelt out connected. And then I was like, well, this is just incredible because they are literally back together.
It was very strange. You could feel the energy change in that room. It was a corridor.
From
it was palpable.
Yeah.
It was just such a feeling of elation and joy. There wasn't a dry eye in anyone who was doing that.
All of us on the board was in tears.
It was. We knew what had happened. You could feel it crackling in the air.
He actually went to his mother.
Yeah.
It was a reunion. It was a beautiful moment.
And we was part of that, which is actually
amazing. Although, like I say, we do not do spirit rescue because we like to leave things exactly as they were when we turned up.
Yeah.
Sometimes certain situations come along where you have to do something.
Yeah.
It's like anything in life, you can't pass them by.
No. And as a healer,
you can't pass that suffering,
Kind of like sort of walking by and seeing stuck in a car.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. What you're going to do, walk straight by. Sometimes you...
Yeah. And she wrote at the end, didn't she, as she left, she just put ever so loved.
Ever loved, ever so loved.
Ever so loved.
Ever so loved,
she said.
And that was it, she went.
Yeah.
And you knew they were gone. It was weird. It was like we looked at each other.
She had her children back.
All looked up with tears in our eyes, and it was like,
wow.
it's gone, it's done. For all my hard, logical, sceptical, I have to have X and Y's and dates and things like that. Yeah. Even I was moved by that. It was an incredible moment.
Yeah.
And like I say, maybe in 14 years, that's probably the only time I've really been convinced with the Ouija board. It's a great form of communication in the right circumstances and used correctly. But a lot of people forget that the little girl at the start of The Exorcist was messing around with the Ouija boards, you know?
That's right, yeah.
And we all know what happened then.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we always cleanse it as well, so it's frankincense afterwards, and you know.
I think that's one of the things that always put me off the Ouija board as well, because my sister's actually called Reagan. So, yeah.
Can she projectile vomit and spin her head round as well? And go backwards down the stairs?
When she was younger, perhaps. I'm not sure if she does that sort of thing anymore.
Oh.
It's not something I wouldn't say I wasn't open to,
Yeah.
but it's not something that I've done
No.
as yet.
I think you have to, like I say, you have to put up as many forms of communication you can.
Yeah.
You have to have it correlating with technical equipment. Sometimes we use mediums. Sometimes we just utilise the guests who are in our group because they're just as good.
Yeah.
And we've had some great hits with that. And it's when you get maybe 2 or 3 pieces of evidence coming together at the same time with several witnesses.
Yeah.
That's when you can start to say, maybe this isn't normal. Maybe this is that slightly grey area that is not quite normal. It's paranormal. It's beyond normal, which is what paranormal means.
Yeah.
When you can strip away everything, that you can explain it away by this, this and this, but you're still left with that tiny, and it is a tiny, very small part of it, grey area that you cannot explain. Only then can you say that is paranormal. And even then it's subject to a person's belief. Yeah. Which is why it comes down to being a personal thing anyway.
Just to go back again to Martha and what you were discussing there. Do you think that they experience time in the way we do, as a kind of linear thing, or do you think it comes in?
Well, this is interesting.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Think of Dogmail's Abbey.
Well, no, exactly. But with quantum,
one thing that
there is no such thing as time.
Yeah, this is one thing that when you have spirits of children, if
Which I've
time
no doubt
elapsed the same for them, then surely they would actually grow up. Perhaps not. They might not appear physically grown up, but surely mentally they would experience things as we do, and therefore mentally they would kind of grow up.
Yeah.
So I'm always really interested to hear that when you get spirits of young children, it does lend me to believe that they don't experience time.
No, I don't think
a
they
linear
do.
thing like we do.
We talked. We communicated with what we thought was a spirit at Dogmail's Abbey in Pembrokeshire.
Yeah.
And we were getting some interesting stuff on the K2 in response to yeses and nos. Some really big belts on the EMF. And you asked the question, didn't you? You said, and it's an old ruin. It's an old abbey.
Yeah.
Supposedly very haunted by monks, Cistercian monks, I think it was. It's got an old crypt there. We were there about 2 a.m, and you asked the question: is the castle a ruin? Is the abbey a ruin for
where
you?
you are?
And they said no.
And I said, well, is it intact then? And they were like, yes. And I thought, oh my God. I said, so are you in 2013? And it was like, no. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, this is no.
They're busy going about their own daily life in whatever,
which is quantum
what they were used to when they
dimensions.
passed, I guess. I don't know. Time, like you said, time is
Irrelevant.
is a human thing,
Construct.
a human construct that tells us between point A and point B.
Yeah.
It gives us some sort of quantification of that.
Yeah.
That's
When
all
it's
it is.
just
But
really
I think
one continual now.
I think on the other side you can throw all these science rules out the window. I think a lot of it.
Kind of like maybe
there's a
strip
different
where
sort of
things are
science.
just
Yeah,
continually
absolutely.
reprogramming themselves.
I think maybe.
Which explains deja vu. I mean, that's what I mean. We have not got the answers because there's just so many questions.
That's the beautiful thing about the paranormal. You don't have the answers. You won't know until you go. That's what people say.
I don't think we ever will. I think even to a certain degree, when you do go, I know there is a school of belief that suddenly the knowledge of the universe will open up to you, but I don't quite follow that personally. I think maybe.
Have you heard about
you're allowed to know what you're supposed to know? Yeah.
Or it would blow our tiny minds. I
Well,
guess.
that's what I was going to think. That's how I was going. We only, in my mind, we only use 10% of it. I do think the other 90% know exactly what's going on, and I think there's part of us that's ahead of our own selves. Which is why you get all of the deja vu sensations.
And also, with quantum as well, there's the theory that, with time especially, you've got this path, whether you believe in destiny or whatever, we have this path, and we are here now.
Yeah.
Maybe in one set of circumstances, we're here and we live till we're 93. Maybe in another path, in some dimension, parallel universe, whatever it is, we die in a car accident.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, that where we're dying as a car accident gets blurred with this path where we live till we're 94.
Yeah.
And maybe we appear sometime after the car accident, just as we were living, to the people who we know and love, and they see us in that realm. They see another fragment of that dimension.
Yeah.
It could be seen as a ghost, perhaps not. Perhaps it's down to science, quantum science, or something like that. We can be in two places at once with two different destinies.
Yeah.
Perhaps that explains, multiple. Perhaps that explains certain things we see in the paranormal.
Yeah.
Certain, of course. I mean, you throw it out the window when certain ghosts or spirits are interactive.
Yeah.
Some come up as a warning. Quite often, you'll hear of when a soldier is at war, and that you get the death haunting where a soldier is seen by his mother.
Yeah.
And he's on the other side of the world fighting a war, and he dies in a battle somewhere, and he's shown to his mother. So there are many different types of hauntings, ghosts, or whatever you want to call it. But I think certainly a certain, like the recording, the stone tape theory, a lot of them can be explained away.
Yeah.
By science, perhaps not the science that we understand as such at the moment.
Yeah.
But as the more we develop, the more we investigate, we're starting to learn more about it.
The more open we get as well. Like, so if you start reading like quantum and energy and, you are having, your paradigm shifts. So then within your focus of your own universe, you might start believing in these things, and then you start receiving these things, and then it goes on. So that by the time you've, within your lifetime, you can go from complete skeptic to complete believer, which is your journey, which is absolutely fine. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people start believing towards the end anyway, don't they?
I think so. I think you'd have to be pretty hard not to
Absolutely.
Honest.
We all want to know. I mean, we all want to think that, there's not some horrible impenetrable darkness and that's it. That's the end of it all.
Yeah.
We all like to think that there is something beyond. We'd all like to know that we carry this energy, this love with us onto wherever we go.
But you've not really experienced anything that's kind of put you off or scared you then?
Some things have sort of like scared me because I wasn't expecting them. Like the stamping down the stairs when I was sitting on the stairs on St. Brendan's Castle,
with the hanging room above us.
Nobody else was in there except I.
4 of us setting up equipment, really.
And they were down below on the landing, so I was sitting on about the 5th stair up, and I was like a 20-stone man coming down those stairs.
Yeah.
I literally left
in hobnail boots.
Flew.
Literally, we all heard it. It was
steps.
as if some unseen body literally stamped down those stairs from the hanging room, the guard room, down to on the very old staircase.
Yeah,
I've never seen Paul move so fast. Yeah,
and that was scary. And if I'd been on my own, that would have been terrifying.
Yeah,
and I certainly wasn't going to grab a torch and go running up there.
Now we're going to hear the last part of our interview with FPI, Paula and Adam.
Have
you just been touched?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. In fact, if you, just before, about 2 minutes ago, I thought there's something here with us in this room.
Yeah, because I noticed that flickering.
By this fire, yeah. The candles have been going crazy for the last sort of 5 minutes as well.
But that could be the heat from the fire as well.
Pinched my elbow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, where we live here, it's 400 years old.
We've been talking about this before now, in the chandelier.
The lights have just started flickering and stuff.
Free will, everybody's got free will within the whole universe if you decide you don't want to move on or whatever. And I was explaining this to somebody, and the chandeliers literally went down and came back to life and started going crazy.
Do you think maybe it's possible because we're chatting about this now? Maybe we are putting on that beacon.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Without doubt.
Because they just want to say hello. So just like, I am here, hello.
Well, it wasn't a nasty thing. No. It was just a little.
There's nothing nasty here, definitely not. I mean, we wouldn't live here. It's a great energy in the house we live in, but at the end of the day, you've got to realise it's 400 years old.
Yeah.
It's called the Old Carpenter and Wheel Art Shop.
We have seen things.
We've seen stuff down here. The dog experiences things. He starts barking at something that's not there. We see things out the corner of our eye in the kitchen, as if a shadow walked by. You've seen something that looked like my dad in here.
In the courtyard, even.
You were slapped down in that room.
I was actually had my legs slapped.
I was up in the bedroom and I heard it just like that, and I heard her scream, and I went, "What's up?"
And
you literally got slapped on the legs.
Can you do that again, please? And I was thinking, but don't, because
I've
got to live here.
But yeah, you do. We tend not to do stuff in our own home because it's your home, you know.
Yeah, yeah. You don't.
You'll go out, and we'll go out to there's some incredible places just up the road. You know?
Yeah.
But going back to being scared, yeah. Of course, you can't help but be scared. But I'm starting to get to the stage now where I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like being scared, and I will put myself in as many situations as I can that will nearly make me run. I've never run yet. I've never run screaming yet. I will not run away from it. We enjoy it. We love what we do, and long may it rain.
If you'd like to tell us where people can find you.
You can find us online, www.forestparanormal.co.uk. You can find us, we've got a Facebook group which I think is Forest Paranormal. You can find Paula's books on paulaheath.co.uk. We do put our events up mostly on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Come along onto one of our events. If you see us around, by all means stop and chat about the paranormal.
And if you've got any stories that you want to share with us and any locations in the Forest of Dean,
yeah, you're up for that, yeah.
Definitely.
Excellent,
our email address is info@forestparanormal.co.uk. If you want to drop us a line about anywhere you'd like us to investigate, then
I mean, we don't do put people's homes.
No.
But I mean, in their house, we're
definitely.
Well, once again, thank you very much, folks. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, mate. Brilliant. Thank you.
So that was the final part of my interview with Paula and Adam there from Forest Paranormal. And as you probably heard at the start of the clip, I was sat down in the guys' living room, on their living room floor actually, by their coffee table, my back to the window, probably at least 4 feet from the window there. Nothing at all behind me, but I definitely felt something pinch my elbow. It was a really strange feeling. It was a definite pinch, not kind of like something brushing past me. Really strange. Can't kind of explain that, but I guess kind of apt considering what we've been talking about through the evening. But really nice guys there, and as they said, they're more than up for a chat if you bump into them. Love to hear any spooky stories. If you have any tales of incidents that you've had, any places that you think they may be keen to investigate, then you should definitely hit them up. You can get them on info@forestparanormal.co.uk. You can find them on Facebook, of course, and you can get them via their website, which is www.forestparanormal.co.uk.